Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? I apologize. Oh man, excuse me. I apologize in advance. I had a whole lot of stuff going on last week. I'm gonna switch up my schedule a little bit. Um, I'm gonna probably put it on my Instagram as far as how I'm going to do this going forward. My season has been a little chaotic. Full disclosure, I have a transportation company, so sometimes my clients keep me overnight. So waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning to show y'all my setups and everything else and what I'm thinking is going to happen with the market for the analysis has been a little bit of a challenge last week. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, just apology there. So let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't like and subscribe or hit the bell button, go ahead and do that now if you're watching this on YouTube. Also, my Instagram and Twitter is down below, so just go ahead and click that as well. Follow me. Sometimes I drop some gems about what the market's going to do and where we can attack and make some money. All right. So, without further ado, and also, if you don't have a trading community, go ahead, click the link down below, come join the cheat code and have some fun. We learn how to trade all together. We cry together, we make money together. Some people lose a little bit because they're still learning, but at the end of the day, it's a really, really fun trading floor and everybody grows. Each one reach one, teach one. All right. So let's go ahead and grab into the chart. The chart has been very interesting. Oh, great. Of course. Of course. My settings will be tweaked as if I did not already have this set. There we go. All right. So looking at the chart, you can see it looks like we have made some very parabolic moves, right? I talked about what would happen with the dollar, right? And when we kind of talked about this, I know a lot of people was like, well, the dollar needs to strengthen up. It was down at its bottom and everything else. But if we really think about what happened with the dollar, I know this is kind of not how I kind of start things as far as it. I usually go straight NASDAQ, crude oil, gold, silver, and in order, right? But I want to key off extremely hard on the dollar. As a trader, if you're a new trader, I want you to practice charting the dollar. You can't trade the dollar. Well, in Forex, you can trade the dollar, but when it comes down to the dollar will dictate or give you a little bit of a guidance on what the market is thinking, what it's doing. Because if the dollar is showing weakness, then they gotta take their money out of the dollar and put it in things that's gonna grow, because nobody wants money to just sit there, right? So they'll just toss that money into the market, toss that money into the bonds, toss that. They're gonna put it in safe spaces, right? So that way they can always grow, because money does deflate in value very, very, very quickly. And then if the dollar is strengthening, they're gonna pull the money out of the market because they know they can get some better buying power, and the market usually drops. All right. So let's go ahead and get deep into the dollar. I'm going to do a real recap of everything I talked about when we kind of broke down the dollar, so that way I can make it make sense. I talked about this inverse head and shoulder, right? That was the first thing we talked about really, really deep, especially when this peak showed. And I was like, well, we got a lot of oversold information from higher time frames. And I just knew that whenever we rallied, there's going to be some type of retracement. So I thought this was the beginning of an uptrend. And that's what inverse head and shoulders is. You have a downtrend, it's a reversal pattern, right? You have a downtrend that's heading in a certain direction, it's following a trend, making lower lows, and then when it try to make its final lower low, there's usually an oscillator that's creating some type of divergence, where the market is like, look, we got this low, but we only got this low because we were searching for enough buyers and we couldn't find none until this level. But there's not enough sellers to put pressure on those buyers at that level. And guess what ends up happening? Your oscillator starts to read a little differently. Instead of it being a straight follow through where we're making lower lows and lower highs, and the oscillators follow suit, what ends up happening, we do lower highs and lower lows, and then the oscillator is making higher lows and higher highs. So that's when you start to get your divergence. So what ended up happening with the dollar, let me go ahead and go to the full chart. You'll see that we kind of formed this left shoulder, and as soon as we formed the left shoulder, we started making the right shoulder. That right shoulder in itself was starting to form and start to take off to that upside to the best of its ability. But because the market is trying to rally at the level that it's trying to rally, guess what ends up happening? there is some selling pressure. Why is there selling pressure? Well, if we look at this level here, this is a level. Some people that probably uses like volume profile, they probably say this is the point of control. There's a lot of nuances that you're probably looking at when it comes out to the market, and when it's all said and done, it almost lets you know where the market may go. So remember what I talked about last week. Last week I was kind of like keying off saying, hey, this looks like an inverse head and shoulder. But what is the rules, especially all my people in the cheat code community? You could go ahead and put it in the chat or put it in the community itself. What do you do with inverse head and shoulders? We are not market makers. We do not go for the full measured move of an inverse head and shoulder. So what did we do? This inverse head and shoulder, they measured to this level, which was about 2.009 or whatever is the 3 decimals right here. And guess what ended up happening? This is our measurement. I measured it, put it out where the potential breakout could happen. And then what did we do after? We put a fib on this area itself. And I said, do not go after more than 50% of the measured move. I know if you're watching this video, you're probably doubting and be like, well, you know what, Jeff, you already put all this information on here a long time ago. You could go watch my previous videos. I literally drew all these levels on where the dollar will reject. And if the dollar rejects on an uptrend, that means the downtrend on the market is over and it's going to start to rally. And that's exactly what ended up happening. The market is trying to find ways for us to go ahead and continue to make the dollar stronger, and they're failing to actually make that move. What else is also an issue? Let me get rid of this line. Another issue that we're having, we have a strong imbalance. Whatever was said in the market on this day, December 13th, these imbalance candles are telling you that sellers existed here. These are footprints. Let me come out a little bit. The market can't hide its information. It'll leave little fingerprints and little nuances and little tendencies that the market has result, because it's transactional. That means if this happens, then that means for this to occur, this has to be in a zero sum game. There has to be an opposite reaction. There's no other way that the market operates. So as we go ahead and get deep into this chart, you will notice that we had a death cross here, and that death cross completely played out. It gave nice rally, and this is part of the Santa rally, right? So this whole entire rally, people have to take profits. Where did they start taking profits? They started taking profits around this area. Probably was their first position. And then right here, there was like, they're noticing that it can't make the dollar go any lower. They might be holding the bag, or they may lose some of the profits that they generated if they got from here. Or if you had some late bloomers, they probably got stopped out in these areas. So these are the areas that you have to pinpoint so that way you can know where to go. As soon as this was set, I asked the question, if this thing fails to make a lower low from this level or anything right here, it will generate some type of divergence. And we can see 50% of the move is exactly the area that it rejected. And I also have this imbalance with a 50% mark here. So this is the imbalance of the candle right here. Here's the 50% marker inside of that imbalance. Perfect. And where are we struggling every time we try to make the dollar gradually rise? We're struggling right here in this area. Or if you want to call it a zone, you want to call it whatever you want to do. Let's grab a doji. I want to grab this doji right here. So it seems like every time the market gets hold on, wrong button. Let me get out of this. Yep, thank you. All right. Every time the market gets around this area, guess what it ends up doing? It struggles to break through. If it gets above it, other buyers are stepping in for the dollar. They're trying to push back up. They're trying their best to get this dollar to power up, but we're creating what is a downtrend right here. And if you have any technical analysis background whatsoever, what does this part of this look like? And y'all could chime in. And actually, got a little bit low viewership. No worries. You can put it in the comments along the way just to go ahead and test yourself. Let me draw the rest of it. Boom. Y'all still don't know what it is? All right. Cool. Boom. Y'all still don't get it? All right. Maybe it's really boom. Is this a overgrown bull flag, or is this a more like, if this doesn't break out to the upside now, there's going to be a shallow bull flag. And if you don't believe me, what I mean by a shallow bull flag, put a Fibonacci on it. How much of a retracement did? We have not broke the 50% mark, so this has not failed its bull flag characteristics yet. So could the dollar just bull flag right now? Well, we had contract expirations. So contract expirations probably played a part of this. And I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you on this analysis. I'm literally jabbing everything that I missed out on trying to tell y'all last week because of my mixed schedule. But if you look at this dollar and you go ahead and get as much details out of this, this is not a surprise that it's trying to get through the 50% mark. And I would not be surprised that this week we finally get through this entire imbalance and start to break out of this order block. That is the dollar. So what does that mean when the dollar breaks out? Market drops. Market drops. All right, so let's go ahead and get to my regular routine. I do apologize. I had to share that. I've been stewing on this and holding it back for the longest, and it's just a lot of information. You may have to take this video, rewind, write some notes, and really understand what happened in that. But overall, that's what the market. You're not predicting the market. You're not kind of like having some type of psychic ability or anything. It's the rules. It's a psychology to the market. Like the market is going to give you the information. You have to dissect the information. If you do proper technical analysis fundamentals and apply it to it, it will pinpoint on the probability, and that's where you make the money. All right. So let's go ahead and get deep into the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq had rallied and it did some insane stuff. Right. Also, please, by all means, follow my YouTube. There was a lot of mindset that had to be played in part of that, and I had a little bit of an issue there, just to kind of have full disclosure on that, because the market will mess with your psyche. I promise that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. So right now we got imbalances all over the place, and we failed to make new higher highs. So I think there's a lot of selling pressure that's happening here. It does not mean that this is a reversal. Okay, I don't want somebody to be like, oh well, JD, you said all of this, so I went ahead and got some December puts. Look, I'm just telling you this right now. When you have your house built on a stilt without any true foundation, no structure, no market structure, it only has one direction to go. Go find some place and, well, let me give a different version of it. Let's see. Do I have some emojis? Let's find an emoji. Think of it as, yeah, just one leg, right? You're just standing on one leg. You don't have a second leg. Then you start to tumble a little bit. So this is that first leg of that whole entire run up that started all the way down here in January 17th, right? That leg is up. Now it has to find a way to have some stability. These are your imbalances. Where are additional buyers sitting? Where are they sitting? What are they looking for? What level? Could it be a 50 EMA? Could it be a 200 EMA? This is the questions that you have to ask yourself, because you could, if you put a proper if-then statement to make sure that you're putting your trading plan into effect, I promise you this will be beneficial to you. So right now I'm looking at a potential, more of a attempt. They're going to go ahead and try to get back into this imbalance, but there is a lot of congestion, a lot of what I call jambalaya rice. Let me draw it out for y'all. I call this a jambalaya rice order block, and I call this a jambalaya rice order block. So right now we're creating a lot of order blocks because the market's trying to decide, are we going to go further up, or are we going to start taking profits and getting out the way before we come all the way back down to this other jambalaya rice order block? Or let's just take it at the doji, or we do a doji order block right here, right? Could this retrace all the way down to this level? Now, I've been talking to a few friends of mine that's also traders. Some say maybe a 50% retracement. I'm thinking 382. But if we get a 618, it would make things very interesting, because that will bring us to a golden ratio. So let's take the whole entire leg for January 17th, and you'll see this is our retracement areas, right? Jambalaya rice. But this jambalaya rice is the one with the 382. That's why I'm kind of targeting the 382. I can imagine that there's some real buyers that's sitting right here because they feel like, damn, I missed out on this opportunity. Let me see if I can catch that next leg, right? But if you really kind of like hone in, you got to really put some effort into that 618. Is the 618 going to be that golden ratio bounce and we start to go to some new highs? We're in an election year. That is a possibility too. So just chart it out, put the levels there. And if it reacts to it, then the market will tell on itself. All right. So now the 618 level, oops, grabbed the wrong thing. 618 level brings us into where? A previous imbalance that I marked off that goes all the way back to December of 29. The one that started a good chunk of this rally right here between the 18th as we went to contract expiration. These are the things that you have to kind of mark off. I am curious, can we get to this level? And the golden zone brings us to some imbalances that we have not visited in a very long time. So let's take this golden zone for my zone markers, right? This is an area that we could bounce. Even though we come to the 618, they may come deep into the 618, which would be this zone. I got an imbalance that's over here on a lower time frame that has been addressed, an imbalance here. I got multiple things because that what happens with the market is that you're going to have individuals that's like, all right, I got in at this level, I got in at that price, I'm going to take profits when I'm ready to take profits, and they're going to try to take it as far to the top as possible. And if they do proper scale out, which is what a lot of market makers do, and investment bankers and does, did I just say does a lot of market maker does, so that way they can make sure that they maximize their profits, and they're looking at these certain key levels, probably with Fibonacci's or whatever their technique is. Maybe it's just a plain old trend line and they're going to stay in until it breaks. These are the things that you have to assess as a trader on what are they thinking, so that way you can put yourself in the most optimal position. All right, so going back to this chart, I'm thinking that 618 would be a beautiful retracement. A lot of people will take their money out, and then this uptrend could possibly continue. But can that happen? Let's go to a higher time frame. Let's go to a weekly chart. This weekly chart is letting us know that we've been in this overbought area for a long period of time. Does this give me a high probability that we will continue on that upside when it gets to the 618? I'm leaning on a little bit on no, because this needs to reset. It hasn't been on that oversold area since October of 23. If anyone remembers what happened in October of 23, we kind of talked about, seasonality and everything else. October was supposed to be that first pickup with a little bit, sorry, September was supposed to be that first sell-off, October with a little bit of a pickup, but it's almost like October was the sell-off and then November was the pickup. Like, it kind of just flipped seasonality on its head. These are the things that we have not addressed yet. So keep an eye on that 618. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with on the NASDAQ, because that could be the area of the retracement. There's going to be loads of opportunity for my intraday traders all inside of here. So just be conscious, mark your levels out, you'll be fine. We're above the 50 EMA. I would say stay on that side of it. And with the fact that we have failed to make the death cross and we've only made golden crosses on the 1 hour, you may want to stay on the bullish side until we show a true reversal and a proper downtrend. What do you need for a downtrend? 2 points. So this is a potential, wrong tool, hold on, right? This is a potential downtrend, because all you need is 2 points. All right, so that will give you a little bit of insight. So let's speed through this. We got ourselves CL. CL has been doing a little bit of fun stuff. CL, I'm still sticking to my number. Right, I've been telling y'all I want to see CL under $70, which will be this level here. This thing is determined not to give me my number, but that's okay. I am still going to spot out for it. I don't like where it is right now, because it does look like it's going to make a wider double top. So at the end of the day, I am not looking to buy oil at this point. And if we look at a higher time frame, or just condense the chart completely, it's just been on this uptrend. Can it sustain this uptrend that it put on the chart? Now, that's going to be fun to kind of figure out, because if it does hold that uptrend, then we're probably going to go ahead and take out this imbalance that's over here in this level. Let me go ahead and zoom in so that way you can see it. So we got a nice low imbalance here, nice imbalance here, but this imbalance over here has been toyed with and turned into resistance a bit. Oops, I put the wrong one. This is a bearish one, right? So it came to this level, oh, 50%, bang. Came to this level, 50% trouble. Oh, we finally out, we free. Sold, 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 sold. Right? So these are the things that you want to kind of like mark out when it's all said and done. Oh, we back. Bang. Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful evening star. If you don't know chart patterns, by all means, click the link. I have a couple of workshops where I break down every psychological angle on every chart pattern, chart analysis, technical analysis. I think you should sign up. You can find that at shop.chico.com. But this one is a beautiful, beautiful evening star. How the evening star kind of works out, we have ourselves a bullish momentum, nice low cross. We have not made lower lows in a while. So this group of people more than likely are part of the domino effect that decided to take their profits when it got to that 50% mark. Why? Because that 50% mark historically has shown struggle as far as breaking above and holding above, especially here. Look at that long wick. Wick down and never came back. Down goes Frazier. So they was like, oh, I'm just going to play it to that level. And that's what it did. Bang, continue down. Inverse head and shoulder came in, failure swing because we didn't break out or hold above it. These people are like, let me take this small profit before I end up holding the bag. These people here are like, oh, I think there's still hope. And then out of nowhere, they get liquidated on the way down. And that's how you get those new lower lows with a failure swing of an inverse head and shoulder. But yeah, but now that it kind of rallied at the level it is, sorry for the sound effects and, imagining what people are thinking. You got a nice little uptrend here. Before we actually break down to the downside, we have to see if this M pattern that is putting in here is going to break and come down and break some of these key levels. $73, $73.85. It used these as support. Maybe even this previous imbalance. Does this previous imbalance turn into a support? It's done it here. It's done it there. So can it break down and then come retest this uptrend line and still follow the uptrend, the overall trend, but just break the intermediate or intraday, inter-hour, inter-week uptrend and start to come down. So that's what oil is doing right now. Let's go into gold. I really do feel like I am trying to make up for lost time. I'm going way, way too deep because I just want to get into some charts. It's been so hard to watch some charts. Like I just been kind of like scalping a lot. I haven't not done any real analysis, and like these analysis, I usually do it for me as I'm giving it to y'all. So I'm like, damn, I haven't done this in such a long time. So I'm just having a little too much fun. So let's go ahead and get deep into the chart. So this is gold, and gold looks like it is trying to hold its place. This is a downtrend line that I drew a while back when I did the video. If we actually extend this out, this is what it looks like. They're trying to break out of it and hold above, but they're now under it again. So this can sell off and come into this imbalance and give us a lower low. That would then make me adjust this trend line like this, and that would be our downtrend. But at this point, I am not going to make that adjustment. I am not going to continue it out that far. I want to see what this market does with this consolidation and see where it goes. So I would be bearish again without changing this line because this whole entire area is a consolidation. I would be bearish on gold if it gets below this level at 2022, and I would be bullish the moment it gets above this level. And to be honest, it looked like it's trying to find its way to get up there. I'm not looking for that. All right. So now let's go ahead and get into silver. Silver has been putting weight on that downtrend. So they've made a lower low. And I've talked about this before. With silver, silver is one of those that kind of will drag gold around. Or if gold gets enough strength, people are going to start thinking that the commodities are a safe space and they start pouring their money and everything else. And if they feel gold is too expensive, they'll go ahead and start getting into silver. Listen, I'm not saying for you to invest inside of silver. I'm not saying you should trade silver. But if you trade gold, it is kind of cool. And you'll start to get some of the confluence. So that way you can actually look at how silver is reacting to how some of the gold movement is. And you probably put yourself in a better position. So just keep that in mind when you chart it. So silver right now is on a downtrend. It already did a death cross. It tried to do a golden cross. It rejected at the 50% mark of the imbalance. There's a lot of things that's telling me that this level right here will be tested. Actually, let's do it as this. Jambalaya rice order block. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Wrong bar. There we go. right? So now we got ourselves a nice little order block, and this is where we're starting to wick at, right? This whole entire area. If you want to capture the whole entire wick, that's okay too. I didn't do it on that one, but you could kind of see we're bouncing inside of that zone. So this is telling me that whatever is happening right here with gold, knowing that they're starting to find a little bit of support here, they could catch this, break this downtrend line, because silver is starting to get to an area where it can start building some strength, because there may be some buyers here. And you can see with this oscillator, what is it doing? It looked like it crossed up. They try to take out this imbalance. They didn't get all of it. So they might just get some new buyers to help them, because now we got a little bit of an imbalance here that didn't get filled. And now we're probably going to go ahead and take off, probably get past the 50 EMA and then reject over here at 22,615. So this is something that you could keep an eye on for gold. Now, does this mean that this is a reversal? Not at all. It needs to have a continuous trend. So that way, when it has a downtrend, let me grab one of the downtrends like this one here. When you have a downtrend like this, you need to make sure that that downtrend is going to get defeated by an uptrend. Let me zoom in here. And that uptrend started here. So it's signs of possible reversal. Even though this is an official uptrend, and we talked about this, right? What's the difference between an official uptrend and a potential uptrend? Well, there's your point right here. Here's your second point, and then we made a higher high. Uptrend. Done. You just need 2 points. Now, how strong it is how much it respects that line. That's all it is, right? So if this day respects it all the way through and it gets over to this area here, you're looking at possibly silver breaking down, and then they can start looking at some levels here. A lot of noise here. They look like they won't be free until they get past this 50% mark. Get it? So this could be just retracement, come back inside of the imbalance, and that could be your retest. From an intraday perspective, it's an uptrend. From a higher time frame perspective, it's probably a retest, so that way they can come up to this level, and then as soon as they get here, reject, come back under the trend line, and continue to that downside by breaking whatever potential uptrend, or actually official uptrend, is made by breaking this level. I'm going to leave that on there. Let's see how that works later on in the week. All right, so British pound. You already know how British pound works. We go up, they go up. We go down, they go down. So right now it is in the middle of a crossroad. We kind of detached from the British pound a little bit. It hasn't followed exactly with NQ, but if you follow the dollar, you kind of get a little bit of sense of what's going on. But you can kind of see it's getting rejected right here in this order block. This is a very old order block. I've had this thing on here for the longest. I think I got it. Where did I put this? Okay, back here on December 21st. December 21st, roughly around December 30th, I think I put this here. And this is just that jambalaya rice. For some reason on the British pound, people just, they see this level. They're making decisions. They come here to switch positions on their contract. Hence the reason why it balances. And then the most will prevail. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, if I'm selling and I'm at an order block, I'm just going to keep on selling inside of the order block, because I think my oscillators are pointing, especially from a higher time frame, that it's going to eventually go to that downside. And then you get that first liquidation sweep, pre that first domino, and then now you started a trend. Now they're looking for buyers. Where the buyers are, they're going to be at its lowest point. And then me being at the person that actually sold at the top, I'm taking my profits at the most optimal position, because I have so much cushion, right? So now at this point, this downtrend got broken through, kind of broke out. It went ahead and followed this official uptrend. And right now we haven't broke this official uptrend. We need to break that, so that way we can go ahead and move on, right? So that way we can see what's going on. But there's some intraday plays inside the British pound, and that will help. All right, natural gas. Again, I am extremely upset at myself for natural gas, because I did it again ish. With natural gas, I knew it kind of ran away for a little bit, but I was so focused on why NASDAQ was getting so parabolic, I did not actually play natural gas, but I did show y'all how to draw your levels on natural gas. So if you made money on natural gas, and I pointed out each and every one of these levels, and you can see it was like a straight, you would think it's like some cartoon character falling down a whole forest of trees, and they just hit a branch, bang, hit a branch, bang, hit a branch, and then now it hit the last branch, and now it's breaking right on through. So I would say for natural gas, this is a good opportunity for you to just watch it, analyze it, if you've never played natural gas, there is a very wide gap right above here, and I will not be surprised that this gap gets filled later on in the year. But right now, the current gap that they created, which is this one right here, this one looks like it's trying to fill now, and they failed. Maybe we'll get another lower low. Maybe we'll get a retest at this level at 2.231, and then we'll probably bounce back up, refill it, and then come right back down. This death cross is telling a lot of stories of where natural gas will go. All right. Next one is the Russell. So the Russell has been leading off, telling us what the market is doing. Look at that Russell, right? Had a nice little bump and run action here. It broke down, came to this level, held, called this imbalance. If we didn't feel it, we're going to rally. We talked about this, right? And then now we got this nice little solid uptrend, broke the overall downtrend that was started since December 28. And guess where we are? We're exactly here because everybody's reinvested inside of the Russell, and it allowed for this whole entire chart to do everything that we were expecting. Right now, you're talking about maybe it's starting to get a little exhausted. We're not really spiking the hourly candles with the stochastic. And plus, we're in contract expiration. Contract expiration lets us know that at the end of the day, people will probably reposition their puts, and it could be short in the market. Just make sure you draw your charts out. All right, so now I got to go open my floor. I'm going to go ahead and just do one last recap of the dollar. I love the dollar. The dollar tells me a lot. Dollar's your friend, okay? So on the dollar itself, I gave you everything that you need. Bull flag. It's going to break out. It might just sell off right now. If we kind of zoom in on it, ever since I talked about it, it looks like it was going to hold that level, but it just spent this last probably 5 to 10 minutes bringing it down to this level. And now it's back under this downtrend, and it could come back and clear out all these imbalances and come tumbling all the way down. Maybe it gets past the 50% mark. Maybe it does, and then out of nowhere, the market just rallies. Good morning, Casey. I'm sorry, you may have to put the tickers in the chat, and then I'll just go ahead and do a recap later. But I do have to tap out right at a hard 8 o'clock, and I promise tomorrow I don't even have nothing planned. I am doing in the before analysis on tomorrow. All right, so that said, this is the market, the dollar itself. So I would say go ahead and chart it out. Get to the point where you get so used to the dollar. Every time it breathes a certain way, you follow the wave of it. You're going to be on the right side of the coin. If it breathes another way, you reverses. You follow it down. Don't worry yourself on the intricacies, because sometimes one of them are lying. Like the dollar and the Nasdaq isn't in sync. Just try not to be inside of a trade when they're not in sync, because someone is lying. It's probably being manipulated. But after that, that's how the market works. And I think with today's before analysis that we just did today, I think there's a lot of insight that you probably could grab on. You probably could really make some real swings into the market. So by all means, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the rocket button. The rocket button helps the algorithm, so that way TradingView followers can find my information. Also, I have my YouTube, hit the bell, hit the like button, all that good stuff. But my Instagram, my Twitter, I'm always putting as much information as I can when I have the time. I'm in my peak of my season in the transportation company industry, so it's going to be a little bit sporadic right now. But when we get back to the summer, it's going to be full on, full speed ahead, so that we can knock it out. And if you need if you really need a community, you feel like you're trading by yourself, it feels a little boring, or you feel like you're losing money and you don't have no support group, by all means, come over to cheatcode.com. We really have a lot of fun. I promise you. Come to our trading floor. Today, I'm doing my trading floor from 8 a.m. to 1:30. We're going to be trading futures, and I'm looking to kind of like, I don't know, I think my goal today is probably $1,000. I think that's what I'm going to be aiming for. All right, so that said, that's my video. By all means, I want to thank you, and I want y'all to have a great trading day and a great week, my neighbors.